Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Patty. I go by Pattymac Makes everywhere online. In today's video, I'm going to cover a project that is really super popular. A lot of people are interested in making them. A lot of people are also really intimidated by making them. And what are we making? We are going to make this really cute little zippered pouch. And you can see it's got a zipper installed, and I put a fun little pull. We're going to open it. It's lined. It has a little tab that helps when you close it. It's all around cute. And I am going to show you how I did it. So there are 101 ways in sewing and quilting to kind of do the same thing. And zipper pouches are no different. There are a million ways to put in zippers, and everybody has their favorite way. Everybody has their way that they think is, you know, the best. So a lot of people are super intimidated by zippers, and you know, they're really not that bad. What I'll say to you on this little pouch is it's very easy to get kind of turned around when you're putting it together. And so I have written out really clear, specific, step-by-step instructions for how to lay the pieces out so that when you go to put them together and construct them, you can follow the directions. That will be linked over to the blog post on my website. I will tell you, I personally get a little turned around and confused with some things, and so having the step-by-step instructions really helped me. I've made these things a million times, okay? I'm not kidding, a million times, and I still have to refer back to my own instructions to remember how to put them together. So it is what it is. So I'm going to share a couple of just little tips with you, and these are not things that I ever hear anywhere else, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about them because it does come up, and I know it's not just me. So when you start stitching your bag together, you will find that your lining has a tendency to migrate a little bit. And maybe that's because I don't stabilize my lining. It's just the straight fabric. I also tend to use the really low-end solid cottons, and you know, they're not as stable as the sturdier woven cottons, I find anyway. Maybe because I always use a stabilizer of some sort on the outer portion of my little bags. It just tends to kind of hold its shape better when it comes time to put everything together. And I always find that that lining, especially when I'm sewing the first part of the project where you're attaching the outer, the lining, and the zipper together, that lining just wants to migrate. And maybe if it was on a walking foot, it would do better, but you really need to use the zipper foot to get in where you need to be. So I don't know what the answer is. Just keep in mind, you're not crazy if your lining wants to migrate around a little bit. Don't worry about it, because what you can do is just keep going, get it in there as neatly as you can, and then you can trim at the end. And I'll show you that in the video. I'll also tell you that for this project, I'm showing it to you as a quilted bag. And what I did was I just took the fabric, I laid it onto some quilt batting, and then I just sewed parallel lines on a diagonal. And this does not have to be perfect. So don't get hung up on, you know, if you kind of get off of super perfect even lines. You honestly are not going to see it in the finished piece. And if you match to somewhat your thread to the background color in your zippered pouch, you're not going to be able to tell. I kind of went a little off on this, and you know what, it's fine. I love this bag, and I would very happily use it. These little zippered bags are so fun because you can have such a great time playing with prints. So this is another one that I made, and you can see I put a little polka dot inside. So you can really have a good time with mixing and matching your prints, and you can have a lot of fun with the color of your zipper. It just all makes for something really, really super cute and super fun, I think anyway. I'll also tell you that this bag I used fusible quilt batting, and on this one I just used more of a high loft straight up 80/20, and this is much softer than this one. So if you want a little more structure in your bag project, then that fusible will give you that. If you just want a cute little quilted thing, then just use the regular 80/20. And don't be afraid to, get a little out there. So if you're making this as a Christmas gift, as I film this, we're coming into the Christmas holidays, and don't be afraid to, get a little out there with your prints, because remember, you're making this as a gift for somebody else. So making the bag in a print that they would like, I think, is really important. And I had a comment on the video where I kind of went over the projects I wanted to make at Christmas, and somebody really didn't like the choice of the sugar skulls. And I just had to kind of tell her that teenagers like this kind of stuff, and I made this for a specific friend who loves purples and all these bright colors, and she would be really into this. So I don't think you have to make a Christmas gift in a Christmas fabric, because then you're kind of limiting when that particular piece can be used. And I know if I give her this, she's going to put this out in the car and she's going to use it all the time. All right, that's everything. I'm done. I can't think of anything else. So without further ado, let's jump into today's project and I'll show you exactly how to put this together. Okay, stick around. Here are the tools you will need for today's project. You're going to need fabric scissors, a disappearing ink pen, wonder clips or pins, a sewing machine, all-purpose presser foot, a zipper foot presser foot, and you may want to use a walking foot attachment to do the quilting portion of the fabric that will be the outer part of the bag. A good steam iron, an ironing board, the point turner, and you will also want the free pattern that is on my website, and I will link to that blog post for you in the description below. You will also want to consider a zipper pull that will make your zipper a little bit fancier. Pattern weights are helpful, and we will use a couple of different kinds of ribbon. For project materials, you will want 2 different kinds of fabric, one for the outer part of your bag and one for the lining, and you will need a zipper. My zipper is 14 inches long. You could go with a 12-inch zipper. I generally go with a longer zipper, and then I just trim away the excess. The first thing that we will do to make our rounded zipper pouch is to quilt the outside fabric. And what I have done is apply fusible quilt batting to my printed fabric. I just put that on according to the manufacturer's instructions. And now I am going to quilt in repetitive lines, just parallel lines, back and forth across the whole of the fabric. I'm doing this just to quilt the whole piece of fabric at one time. That way it's all done. And I can get 2 separate bags from this one cut of fabric. So I'm going to just go ahead and quilt all of it and cut both bags at the same time. I'm using my machine fitted with the walking foot so that I know that I get the cleanest, nicest look to the quilting. Once everything is quilted, I will fold the fabrics in half and lay out the pattern piece. When I cut from pattern pieces, I like to trace around the shape, and then once that's traced, I cut out using the fabric scissors. make each bag, you will need 2 pieces of the outer fabric and 2 pieces of the lining fabric. Press your zipper once you take that out of the packaging. That way it's nice and flat. The first step is to take the outside piece of fabric and lay it right side up. We will then put the zipper right side down, lining it up along the top edge. We will then line up a piece of the lining fabric along the top. Because I'm using a solid, it doesn't matter which side, but if you were using something that was a print on the inside, you would put the right side of the print down. So you would have right sides facing on your fabric. Secure this little sandwich into place. And then we'll take it over to the sewing machine. We will then, using the zipper foot, sew a line of stitching at about 2.5 millimeters stitch length all the way across, and this will secure the zipper to the inner and outer pieces of fabric of our pouch. Once you have everything secured, press it into place so that it's nice and sharp and flat. Then we're going to top stitch, and this will hold all of the fabric in place to the zipper. I like a long stitch for my top stitch, so I'm going to make that at 3.5 millimeters and just line that zipper foot to the side and sew pretty close to the edge just so it looks nice and everything is secure. Our next step is to sew on the other side of the zipper. So we're going to take our unsewn outer fabric and lay that on the mat right side up. We're then going to take the piece that we've sewn and take the unsewn side of the zipper, and we're going to lay that right side down. So at this point we have our right sides facing on our outer fabric. Then we're going to lay our lining fabric on top of this little sandwich and line the edge to the top of where the zipper is. Secure this in place, take it to your machine, and using the zipper foot, stitch this whole little sandwich together. Press carefully to press everything nice and flat and do a top stitch on the other side. Now comes the fun part. We're going to actually put our little pouch together. So the first thing, and this is very important, open your zipper. So unzip the zipper about to the halfway point. Now what we're going to do is place right sides together on the outer fabric and right sides together on the inner fabric. And so those fabrics will be lying out on either side of the zipper. I always fold the zippers towards the outside so that the teeth are facing the lining. You want to watch that and make sure that your teeth are going the same way on both sides. So make sure the teeth are facing the lining. Clip all the way around so that everything is held into place. Take the grosgrain ribbon, fold it in half, and tuck it in between the fabric that will be the outer side of your bag. So you want it to be fairly close to the zipper, and you're going to want to just fiddle around with it to make sure that it's the length that you want it. So it's kind of a Goldilocks thing. You don't want it too short, but you don't want it too long. So just figure out what is the perfect length for you. I usually find that about 3/4 of an inch looks most natural. And then you want to make sure that it's nice and straight because it's very easy for it to get tipped one way or the other. Secure that ribbon into place. When I sew my bag together, I always start at the lining, and that's where you want to leave an opening. And you're going to leave an opening that is large enough that you can get most of your hand through, because this is where we will turn the bag. Stitch all the way around. You're going to sew right over the zipper. Don't worry about it. Just take your time. Stitch slowly and carefully all the way around. When everything is stitched together, trim the excess zipper away, trim off that little bit of extra in terms of the grosgrain ribbon, and just neaten it up as best you can. If you want to clip the curves a little bit, you can clip the curves on the outer lining. It's a gentle curve. It doesn't make a huge difference, but if you really want it to be nice, you can clip that a little bit. Reach in through that lining where you've left the opening and pull your bag through. Use the point turner to really open everything up. It has that nice curved side to it, so use that to smooth out your curve to your bag and get a nice sharp point up there with your zipper. Now go back to where you've left the opening in the lining and gently fold that under where you've left that little bit of seam allowance and stitch that shut. This does not have to be perfection. It's inside of your bag. Nobody's going to notice it. Just go ahead and get it stitched up, back stitch at the beginning and ending of that stitch line. Now tuck the lining into the bag and give the bag one final press. I will tell you that the final press makes all the difference in the world. The key to having your best possible result in a bag project is to make sure that you thoroughly and completely press your project. It's very important. Don't be afraid of the steam. Steam press it flat, press that lining in, and you will have an absolutely beautiful finished project, perfect for yourself or for anybody that you want to give this little pouch as a gift. That's today's project. I sure hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you are inspired to make your own zippered pouch. I love these, and I am looking forward to making a whole lot more of them for everybody on my list. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye-bye.